Hello, out there in the YouTube world. This is the Stories of Friendship podcast, and I am so excited to have guest Elana on with me to talk about friendship today. Elana, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am so grateful to be on here today. My name is Elana. I come from Southern California, born and raised here, and just excited to be talking about friendship and life and to be able to show up in this space. So, thank you for having me, and I look forward to our conversation.
I'm looking forward to it as well. We had so much fun in our discovery call. So, one big thing that I remembered us talking about was authenticity and how we show up in our friendships. So, let's just start right there. Talk to me about how authenticity plays a big role in your friendships.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very big on authenticity because I think to show up for who we are is one of the most important things. And we don't need to wear those masks. And we need to show up authentically because then that shows who we are. And I know it's hard sometimes to, show up and what you see online is different than offline. And that's something that's very big to me is that if you don't show up and show who you are, then you may not connect with the right people. Being authentic and asking for your needs, showing up for who you are really is something that I pride myself on because you get what you see online as what you do offline. And I know it's hard to be ourselves because of society, because we want to be this person, because we want to show up a different way. But I think too, intuitively, I'm very big on that. So I know when someone doesn't show up authentic, it's something that really strikes a chord with me because I feel I can't have that real, true relationship.
Got it. That's great insight. So obviously you show up authentically. How do you influence your friends and even those that are to become friends? Like how do you showing up authentically encourage and influence others?
Yeah, great question as well. So I think when I show up my true self, it gives someone else to show up. Because, like right now, we're doing this podcast, showing up. I could mess up, right? Be like, oh no, everybody's looking at me, or, things like that. But you know what? Do I really care? No. I care about the people who are going to show up and like me for who I am. If I'm having a bad day, I'm going to be like, look, I'm not feeling myself. This is what I can give, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm wearing my happy pants. Everything is fine. I want people to know, yes, have a very vibrant personality. Yes, I'm happy. I like to smile. But at the same time, I'm human. This isn't always me. This isn't always how I can show up. So I want people to know by looking at me on the outside, hey, it looks like she's doing great. But you know what? We all have our things that we're all going through. And that just connects us more to have someone open up, like, oh my gosh, I'm going through that. Like, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being who you are, because I could be like, I'm fine. Everything's great. I have all these things. But here it is too. You can have all the things in the world and be unhappy.
Agreed. One, I love that because you're giving space for people when they're not at their best as well. Because that's what I hear you saying, right? If I'm not at my best, I don't need to pretend to be there. I
Right.
I'm going to allow myself to show up as I am. And then that gives space to your friends, right? To show up. So even when they don't feel as good, they can still be themselves and trust that you are going to accept them for that.
Yes. And unconditionally, because we feel like, okay, well, I'm at this state, or like, are they going to still love me, or wanting that attention? Like, look at me. I need this. Here it is. In things, it's like you want people to like, it's not a need. Because like, if we need that, it kind of on that thing, I want some, and also safety, feeling safe. I want to be that safe spot for someone to be able to tell me, you know what, Elena, I'm really depressed. I'm not feeling myself and I'm scared. And I want someone to know that they can tell me, or I want someone to share the best news, like, oh my gosh, I just got engaged, or oh, this. We need to have the ugly and the beautiful, not just the beautiful. We need to show that there is darkness too, and loving someone at their dark and at their most beautiful self as well.
Oh, I love it so much because, yeah, we do need to be safe for each other. And I also think that there's more bonding when you can be somebody's safe space, when somebody can come and confide in you, or even in their excitement. Both places, but there's trust, right? There's trust that
Mhm.
somebody's not going to be jealous, or somebody's not going to be upset or overbearing just because they have news to share. So that safe space to me is an essential part of building a closer bond in friendship.
Yes. Yeah, I like how you said that. It definitely brings you closer. And that vulnerability.
Vulnerability is
I
huge.
love to be
Yeah,
vulnerable. I love to just open up and, with me, you're gonna know what's going on, good, bad, not. I'm very vocal about and communication. Because so many times we assume like, oh, I didn't hear or didn't do, and then, oh, they're upset with me. We take things personally. And that's something big that I've had to work on of like not receiving back, but it's not something necessarily that you've done. It's what's going on with them. But having that trust, having that vulnerability and open communication in friendship is really big too, because I can't assume like, say you and I was like, oh, Morris, like, why did you do that? And you didn't, because I didn't know that you were going through something. I just assumed. Or, oh, your text back was super short. They must be mad at me. No, maybe. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having just a bad day. I'm sorry. So I
right.
think asking our needs, showing up and not taking things personal, because that's a big lesson that I've learned and still learn.
Yes. So we talked about the five love languages as well. And
Yes.
I think because we're talking about that communication piece, how how does the five love languages play a part in your relationships?
Yeah. So I'm pretty open with my relationships when I came with my fiance. I met him online and right away I was like, I want the option of kids. I want, A, B, and C. My love language is touch and quality time. I do not like to cook, so that is not my love language. You're not going to get that from me. So showing up what works for me, because my fiance's love language is food and more like gifts, affirmation. And for me, that's like total opposite. I was like, I'm not going to cook something that is not going to excite me if you cook me something because that's just, if you give me a hug, you brush my hair, you tickle my arm, you make that time or special date with me. That's my love language. And that's how I need someone to show up for me in that.
And do you find that it's the same in your platonic relationships as well?
Yes, I do. Well, not necessarily like touch on a different way because touch can be like
Absolutely.
for romantic touch and platonic. So platonic, yes, I'm a hugger. I've always loved hugs. I love just someone's like the touch of an arm on, when someone's talking to you. So yes, that does play because I am known for my hugs. I'm not gonna lie. Or my touch. Like someone, I do Reiki and I have that energy. So if I'm just talking to someone like, whoa, what was that? Like there's just something different in your energy. Everybody loves the hugs or just a hand or just feeling that because I feel intuitively like that is one of my like one of my special gifts is the hand touch, the physical connection and a hug, a real hug. You're hugging someone. Don't pat me on the back. Don't give me a side. Give me a high five if you're going to do that. If you're going to do it, you hug, you embrace, you feel that energy. I mean, I love hugs. I'll give hugs to random people, out in the public or whoever it is.
Yes, yes. Do you find with your friends that you try to discover and honor their love languages as well?
Yes, because you have to, because I feel like that would be selfish. It's not, in a relationship, it's never going to be 50-50. In a relationship, you're going to have to give and take, platonic or not. With friendships, sometimes you could be low. You're like, look, today I don't have the capacity. I'm at 20%. I can hear you, but I don't know how much I'm really going to hear you. But if you need to voice something, I'm there. I'm always there. I can always show up. But we need to be vulnerable, honest, authentic, and truthful to our surroundings because I can't be that friend. Oh, Elena's always there. Elena's always there. If I am not present with myself, if I can't give back, I need to be honest with that and not take it personally. And not a true friendship is understanding. If someone's there, because a lot of times like, oh, you're going through your wedding and you're doing this, you're doing that. I didn't want to bother you. It's never bothering me. It bothers me that you think that you have to say that.
I
I
love
want
that
to
so
be
much.
there for
Yeah.
not to have to.
Right. So then how do you balance, because now you have a fiance, right?
Yeah.
You're about to get married.
24 days.
How do you balance or prioritize your platonic relationships with your relationship with your fiance now?
That's a great question. Friends and community have always been important. So the way I balanced was right away. I told my fiance, Tony, instead of calling him. So I told Tony right away, hey, look, babe, I love my friends. You will be my number one, but they're never going away. So that is a priority to me as well. I will make the time for that. I will show up for them. And so just balancing, knowing that he is my number one. He does come first. However, it's not just going to be us two. And I told him that. I said, I love you to death, but it's not just going to be us two forever. Like Elana and Tony, I'm going to have my friends. I'm going to go out. I'm going to connect. Community is how I thrive. Community is how I can show up for my business, for my life, for things like that. And to balance, it is a hard balance sometimes because, sometimes I joke. I said, well, I'll have my girlfriends live next door and then our husbands live next door to us. And then, because I just want the slumber parties. I want the friendship, that's not going to go away. It's just maintaining. It's showing up and making the priority too. Just because you're married doesn't mean your life stops. Just because you have a partner, it means everything. Male, female, however you want to look at it. It's how you choose to show up for yourself and your partner. But as I said, being honest, like I told him, I said, this is what you're going to get. If you don't like it, bye.
Well, I believe that's a strong priority, right? To say, I love my friends so much. Listen, I have to have them in my life. So meet me halfway here.
Yes. Yeah.
So with your friendships now, does he know all of your close friends? Do they, like, they all kind of go out and he's just used to who they are and being friends with them?
Yeah, for the most part he does. Because also too, I have friends from all walks of life. I still have friends from preschool. I have friends from college. I still have friends from high school. So I feel like I'm a little bit of a rare gem of that level of like, I literally have friends from all walks of my life. And he gets to know that, which is beautiful too. He gets to see like, oh my God, Elana in preschool, she used to do this, or Elana in college, she did,
You get to hear those stories that only they know because they've been with you this whole time.
Even for instance, I just got back from a cruise for my bachelorette and I had 6 girls. I had my sister, I had one of my best friends from 2nd grade, 6th grade, a friend that I met when I lived in San Diego 20 years ago, and a friend who my parents sold her a house when I was 18. She's a little older. We reconnected at a ceremony and have been best friends ever since.
Nice. I love it.
With that, it's sharing that. It was so beautiful for them to share the stories. They said, what do you love most about Elana? And each got to say something special. So maintaining that and introducing my friends from the past, my future, the present is really neat too, because they all have a piece of me in such a beautiful way.
So you actually allow or encourage your friends from different walks of life to try to intermingle?
Yes. Sometimes I think that's hard for people because what does happen? A little bit of jealousy, a little bit like, well, oh my God, like I knew that. So that has happened. Don't get me wrong. Like I do have to admit, like I've had I've had situations where someone's like, well, I've been friends with her longer. Like they compete, like when they know the same story. And I was like, you both know the same story. Like, but it's that love that you just want to show up for your friends. And I think like that's this kind of thin, like a little tricky line of crossing over. Like, when does it cross over or when do you?
Yeah. That's an important aspect for me too, for my friends to know each other and feel comfortable around each other. I think it's beautiful when you can say, hey, you both love me, so why don't we just merge, right?
Yes.
But I actually have struggled a little bit with merging groups. Now, for the most part, I've had success, but there are times where it's like, I don't know if it's jealousy, but seriously, I don't want to meet your other friends.
No, I love you. I totally can relate to that and understand totally with that information because I feel like sometimes it's like not this possessive, like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm someone's child, like you want to protect them and you want to show up and it becomes this thing. I do have friends like not in a bad way, like, yeah, maybe there are a few that I know that necessarily won't mesh a little bit. And there's certain things of like I want people like to know, or like, my wedding, all these people are gonna come, so they're gonna see, different walks of life on that. But I do agree there's sometimes I feel like this, like, well, she's mine first, and she
Like some possession, right? They're a
yes,
little bit possessive over you.
yes, yes.
It is a feel good moment because it's like, I love that you love me that much, but I also would like for you to meet the other
Yeah,
important people.
like these people are just as important, like
Yeah.
well. So yeah. So I think with that, it's just asking, pick and choose our battles.
Right. Right.
Which is a big one for me. Learning that too. Just finding exactly like, is that going to fit? But yeah, just I want everybody to meet because this person I know would love this person, and I mean, we're not going to all be best friends, but
Right.
like, let's at least get along.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have, it sounds like to me you have multiple circles of friends, and then you've got the long-term friends. But tell me about how your long-term friends differ from the people who are like in your life now. Would you say your long-term friends are the same people that you would consider best friends, or is there like a mismatch where you've got some more recent friends that have shown up differently for you than some of your long-term friends?
Yes, that's a great question. That's actually kind of what I'm going through right now a little bit because I do have those friends from preschool or this or that, or friends that I've known forever. And because you know them, you expect sometimes to have these unexpected expectations of them. And I've been guilty of that, where I have friends right now who have shown up so hard and so raw and real that I'm like, what? Like that crossover of like, well, I'm just gonna make up. Sally was, I've known her my whole life, but then Donna, it just came through right now and has shown up more than anybody. So I think sometimes it's like messes with your mind a little bit because you're assuming, sometimes there's like family or the title. When we put someone in a title and close that box off, I think sometimes not that you get in trouble, but sometimes that's where the thin lines get crossed. And for me recently, it's like with everything going on, I've had quite a few friends more that I've recently met that have been in my life has shown up than the friends that I've reached out and asked for that have been there the longest.
So do you experience any guilt around saying this person has been here more for me and there's like a bond that might be a bit tighter now because of that?
That's a great thing. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say like guilty, but it crosses my mind. Like it does like second guess. I would say more like second guessing my relationship than feeling guilty. It's more like, well, wow, like I've known this person forever and why didn't they show up? So then it's me not authentically loving that. Like that's where they were at that time. So I'm learning our relationship. That's where we were. That's where we could both meet those needs. And maybe they can. It doesn't mean less, but it just kind of shows like, okay, now I know I'm not going to rely on Sally, who I've known forever. I'm going to call Donna, who is showing up in that, and that's okay. And kind of accepting that the friendships are going to change. Just because you've been friends with someone, you can't expect them to show up the same way. So that's a big lesson that I'm learning is dropping these unexpected expectations because then you're kind of trying to control everything as well.
So I love this discussion because I feel I've run into the same thing where just like you're talking about titles give expectations. So if I say you're a best friend, you're a close friend, you're a friend, you're a family friend, there's this level of expectation that I think hurts the friendship. Because if I'm expecting for you to perform a certain way and you don't meet those expectations, I'm now mad, but really I should be mad at me for holding those expectations.
Yes. I love that you say that. I agree. I'm not mad at the person. I'm disappointed in myself that I allowed that to happen. And no judgment, I'm not good, bad, or whatever, indifferent. I love what you said, but yeah, it's not the other person's issue. It's not the other person's fault. It's me. That's
Yes.
all on me. So I
Yeah.
love that you say that, because I think people don't realize that you have to take charge of what's going on with what you said and you're doing.
And I'm learning that so if you can let those expectations go, the bond, it allows the bond to continue to grow deeper, because I feel like every time we are upset or an expectation is not met, there's this withdrawal, or like there's this need to pull back from the relationship.
Yes.
Give it space, let it breathe, because you're upset. And if you can drop the expectations, there's no need to get upset. And like you're saying, there's an understanding that this person isn't good at this. Or we all have those friends, and sometimes I am that friend that's not on time. Right? We're all going to meet at 9:00 for breakfast, and we know, just like we're saying, right? We know Sally's going to be there at 9:05 always. And the part that's funny for me is some people would get upset and say, well, Sally just needs to be on time, and I'm mad at her because she's not on time. She's 20 minutes late. She's 30 minutes late. But if we know Sally's always late, let's get rid of our expectation. One, that she's going to be on time. And two, let's set her up for success. Mm-hmm. Hey, Sally, we're meeting at 8:30.
Yeah, you just tell early. Yeah.
Sally gets there at 8:30 for the first time ever on time, and we don't all show up until 9. Good for her. She finally made it early, right?
Yes, I love that so much. Yes, 100%.
But I had that problem, and now I've tried to flip on the other side to say, for friendship, I should be setting up my friends for success, mm-hmm. and not trying to hold an expectation that's probably arbitrary in nature over their heads. So if I'm setting you up for success, that means I understand your habits, and therefore I'm going to make sure you can accomplish what I'm trying to trust you to accomplish.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree, because if we have these expectations, then we're always going to be mad or disappointed. And exactly, you set them up for success of what it is. You tell them a little bit earlier time, or, really like acknowledge them when they did, like, great job, Morris. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that you show, just acknowledging the presence of how.
Yeah, I love that I got to spend more time with you because you were on time. Whatever. We're all feeling better now because you're present with us from the get-go. You didn't miss
you didn't miss out. And I think it's more of this thing that they love you so much as a friend, but don't know how to communicate it.
Yes.
And I think it's all about communicating, because it's, exactly accepting someone, like, that's what it is. That's how they show up. It's not that they're doing, and I think so many times people think they're doing it to them. So taking that away of like
you were talking about earlier,
they're late again. Like, how could they do this to me? And it's like, they're not doing it to you. They do it to everybody. You know, like growing up, you think sometimes even with family or parents, like, why is my mom mad at me? Like, no, that's her. And I saw Deb do that to everybody else. Like, unfortunately, I'm going to be like, it's only me. It's like, that's kind of selfish to think it's about you only,
right.
like, and understanding that. So I think that's another big play, is it's not happening to you only, like acknowledging it's kind of happening to everybody. That's who they are.
And I definitely believe friendship has this give and take nature. And this is why I was asking about the 5 love languages, because in my friendships, I love to gift. I will send gifts across the whole country, because it makes me happy when I get to see their expression and how they react to whatever I'm sending. Some people would say, well, if I don't get a gift back or something back, then I'm not going to send a gift again. And for me, the gift was never about reciprocity. It was always about their reaction to what I was doing. So I don't always think there's this nature of 50-50 in any relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
And then also sometimes what somebody gives back is a different language, right? It's in their language.
Their language.
The more we can buy into that, then the deeper the bond. Because for me, in my friendships, I'm looking for bond. I'm looking for tightness. I'm looking for how close can we get.
100%.
And for me, anytime there's a barrier, those expectations of this, like reciprocity, and an expectation of you're going to be a perfect human being when I need you to be perfect, those demolish or diminish our bond. and our capacity to bond.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As I was saying earlier, it's never 50-50. And I think society or certain things show up because someone gave you something, you have to give it back. No, like I love, as my thing is giving people voicemails. Like, as you know, that's one of my love, like that's my special gem. Like we were like, how did you know I was having a bad day? I was like, intuitive guide. I just know. Thank you so much. No, I'm just kidding. But more like intuitively, like that's my jam. I love people to hear my voice. I love to give that. Someone that could annoy the shit out of them. Someone could be like, oh my God, Elena's voice, or I don't want to hear that. But when I give someone that, I don't expect anything back. When I hear what it does for someone, that's my excitement. That is my joy to know that I can do that, and it's never, I don't ever expect, if we're expecting something back, then you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Right. And I love that you talk about that, because for me, like I have a friend that used to always send voice memos, and I would feel bad because I never sent voice memos back. I always texted my messages back, and I almost wondered like, does it look like I prefer to receive messages just because I'm not? So how does that look for you? You're always giving voice messages. Do you think that on the other end, sometimes people feel the need to send you a voice message back, or like that, since that's your preferred communication?
100%. But I always communicate. Anybody I meet first, I said, I love to leave voice messages. You do not have to leave them back. You do not have to feel guilty. That is my gem, my jam. So I'm honest with that, because I feel like sometimes like, I'm sorry I didn't respond back. I just want to know that you liked my message. Like I could give it two shits if you respond back. I could care if you do the same type of message as me. You give me a little thumbs up even. I just want to be acknowledged back. You don't have to give it back, an acknowledgement, because I think so many times we have to do tit for tat, or you're out in public and someone's like, oh, I like your outfit. Like, oh my God, I like your outfit too. Like, no, just learn. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Because then I feel sometimes if you shoot back something, it's unauthentic, because then you're like, oh, I gotta do it. And then it's like, sounds so like, like you're like,
this goes back to where we first started with authenticity.
Yes.
It's so beautiful, because I think that's part of the problem, where we like what somebody else is doing for us. And then when we try to reciprocate, it's not authentic to who we are. And it doesn't, when it's returned, it just doesn't have the same meaning. And I've even told some of my friends, because I'll get people, they have no idea how I feel about them, and I'll get you a gift. It'll be something nice. And then they'll say, oh, well, now I have to get you something back. I'm sorry, I didn't get you anything. And I'm like, now don't do that, because whatever you give me at this point, you've already, the value of it, it's already diminished slightly, just because it's reciprocal in nature. It's you're not giving me a gift for thinking about me like I thought about you.
Yes.
You're giving me a gift because you feel guilty that I'm giving you one. What you need to do, you just need to be happy that I got you something that I wanted to give for you. I thought about you.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts. That's what I always say. It's the thought that counts. Like when you give something back and then it's like, I have to match a no. Like for me, it's like a handwritten card. Like, give me that. Like,
show up for me how you would show up regularly, because that's gonna, like we're talking about, that's gonna be your most authentic and valuable way of responding.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Because then it feels like fake, like a tit for tat. And it should never be a tit for tat. And then it's when I'm giving you my gift that I'm thinking the whole time, oh my gosh, they're going to feel guilty. And like, why am I doing? Then you second guess your gem of like what makes you happy,
Yeah.
It makes you happy. It fills my cup. And that's why I always tell people, like, you don't have to do what I'm doing back. I just want to know that you like them.
Oh, I love this conversation. So, Elena, it sounds to me like the way you look at your platonic relationships, there's a large element that is similar or the same to your romantic relationship now, right? Like there are things that you must do to maintain those relationships or to make them bond as strong. Would you agree?
100%. Like, that's just me. That's how I say, this is what you're going to get. I feel, excuse me, my purpose in life and why I was here is to love, to show love and to show up that way. And that's what I feel my message is. And that's what I love to portray is like, that's who I am. Elena's the lover, whether it's platonic or not. Like that's what at my bachelorette, that's what when they went around, like, what is it? They're like, the way you make people feel, the way you love on someone, platonic or not, you know that you are seen, you are loved, and you are heard, real, raw, and authentic, not because I want something back, because I genuinely, like intuitively love like this.
Yes, that's really good. Okay, so tell me about how do you look at all the terms? Because we talk about our relationships with people and several terms. A lot of people now say friends, and friends just has this broad meaning, which is too broad for me.
Correct.
But I'm very picky. I want to say acquaintance, colleague, coworker, fellow something. When I call you a friend, I want friend to be special, and then even more special, close friend, and even more particular and specific best friend, right? Like all of these terms and designations have meaning. And I know we talked about those labels, but for me, it's not that I'm trying to give expectations to labels, but I am trying to relay to whoever that, hey, this is my close friend. Like this is part of my inner circle of people who like they influence, they guide, whatever they do for me, they're very much in with me.
Yes.
Major part of my life. What does that look like for you?
I agree with you because I think sometimes like words are just like use. Exactly. Like what is a friend? So I agree. I think people with the language could not step it up, but choose different language a little bit more. I agree. Like you have your friends, you do have your acquaintance, and how that, and then it can take away those expectations, not necessarily boxing it. Like, on my cruise, I said my ride or dies, my besties, like the girls who would go to battle for me, who show up, like do things they wouldn't want to do, like friend winning a splits contest, breaking her toe for me because that's how she wanted to show up. I mean, that is your ride or die. I mean, look at me screaming for them, losing my voice, like showing up. So I do agree because I feel sometimes that tricks us because they're like, well, they're my friend. And then you have that expectation, but put them more like, okay, that's an acquaintance. You know how they're going to show up. Okay, that's my colleague. What lines I can cross and not, and how you want to show up. That's my bestie. That's the one that I can call when I'm in jail at 3:00 in the morning, who will come bail me out. Yes. You have your little categories. And I agree because sometimes using the terms, even with love, I think, when, love can be abused I love you. It's like actions speak much louder than words too. I'm very big on actions. Absolutely. So you can tell me all this, but I need to see it too. I need to feel it. I'm all on vibe and energy. You can tell me whatever, but if I don't feel you or that energy, I'm pretty good about being like, like the way you step back. So I love that you say that. I think it's just using that language more, showing more things like, okay, instead of that, like reverse, like you're not your friend, but at the same time, what is a friend? Yeah,
definitely. That is good stuff. So there's that quote, right? It's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, or you're the average of the 5 people you're the closest to.
Right.
Do you feel like that's true for you? Like if I looked at your friends right now, it'd paint a pretty good picture of who you are.
I would think so. But as I said, I have so many friends from all walks of my life. So literally, I mean, I do believe that. And it kind of shows too, I think my character is able to not say like, oh, because if you can't maintain a friend from this or that, but where I stand for Elana, I think it's a good character for me that people still want to be my friend from preschool, or people still now, in that. So having all of that, kind of attests to who I am as a person as well.
Love it. And then then tell me about, because you have all these friends, right? You have friends from the past, and then it seems like it's easy or natural for you to make friends. What is that? Because we know right now that loneliness is a huge problem. People are lonely, people are not making friends, or people aren't even prioritizing friendship. So for you, how does that work? Like when you think about, I'm going to either get to know this person, or I want this person to become close to me, or even saying I'm going to maintain this friendship from second grade.
Yeah.
What does that take? What does that look like?
Sometimes I feel like it could be a little exhausting because you do want to maintain so much, and how to show up. It's how you do it, because it can be overwhelming because you want to be there as a friend. Like, that's me. Like, I'm that friend you can call at 2:00 in the morning. I'm that friend who will show up, who good, bad, or different. You do not have to clean your house for me to come over. Like, I could give two shits about that. Like, so, I think too, as I said, I feel like an alien sometimes. Like, that's just who I am. Like, that's the way I show up. I can't necessarily like describe it more or less. But for me, for when you're lonely or I mean, I talk to random people at just even the grocery store. It's this intuitive thing that I feel in myself. Just saying hi to someone can lead to something. Like, I've met someone just like off the airplane or at a grocery store or walking on the street by saying, hey, give someone a compliment. Doesn't mean I'm hitting on you. Doesn't mean I want something from you. I'm genuinely saying, like, to this way, like, I love your shirt color. Does that mean that I want to go out with you? That I want us to, no, I genuinely loved your shirt color. I wanted you to know that that's how it is, and call it a day. But people then analyze, and then they get scared because they have an interesting interaction. Like, oh my God, I told someone hi and they didn't smile back, so I'm never going to smile again. So I think that's hard because we're all hurting. But it's like, as I say, I don't care what you're going through. We're all going through something. If I smile and you don't, stick your tongue out at me. Do something. I think just being acknowledged. We all want to just be acknowledged. And I think that's where I see through different is like, you're lonely, go to the grocery store, ask them, hey, what's that apple? Do you like that apple? Like, start something so random and stupid. Like, anything goes. I know it's hard. But what I'd say is, like, if you don't try, you'll never know. You may find your next best friend. You may find that person that you've been waiting for your whole life to have that type of friendship, but you have to try. And I think that's the difference, no matter how depressed or when I'm going somewhere, getting myself out of bed, just talking to someone random, like, that's inspiring to me.
I love that so much because I 100% agree. It sounds so simple, right, that it seems like we should all just be doing it, but there is a fear of rejection, and we have to get over our own qualities, right? Or our own vulnerabilities. Some people are shy, but it's so worth it. And I 100% agree that you don't know who's the next. Like, if your best, for example, if you don't have a best friend, your best friend's out there waiting for you to say hi. Yes. Right? Just like you said, you have no idea what one interaction will lead to.
Like, look at this interaction. So we both met through like a podcast thing on Facebook, asking for something. Right away, I saw your energy. I was like, I'm going to write him. I love friendship. We talked our like first discovery call. Like, I mean, we could have talked for another 10 hours.
Yes.
Connecting two random people, showing up and we would have never done that if I didn't be like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. Like, I love friends.
Right.
Like, look what comes out of it. It is scary. And, people look like, oh, Elena's acting like it's so easy. I get it. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it is, because I agree. Like, people look at me and like, oh, Elana, you can go out and you can do it. But I'm choosing. You have a choice. I think that's one thing my parents have always taught me. You have a choice of how you want to show up, good, bad, or indifferent. And I get there's struggles. There's days that you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want, like, who's going to love me in bed? You're not going to know unless you go out. You go outside, you say hi to your freaking mailman even, like, I've become best friends online. Like, that interaction. It's just, as I said, we all want to be acknowledged.
Yes. So you joined what was it, the polka dot
powerhouse? Yeah. Okay. So,
and for you, that was like another avenue, right, of being able to connect to new people and being part of a community.
Yeah. So I was introduced to this women's network, and it's more than just of a business owner. It's more than just women who just like, hey, we just want to be buddies and like look cute and wear pink and polka dots. No. What it is it connecting with women who want to be seen, who want to be loved. Like, and putting yourself out there, because so many times, like I've joined groups, these women's groups, where I was just like, what am I doing? Like it felt awful. I felt that if I didn't have a business and if I wasn't successful and I didn't look like what it was on paper, then I was nobody, and I was triggered and I didn't want to join these groups. But when I found this group and I got to show up authentically and meet these women who were so authentic, the first thing in our connection was, how can I help you? How can I show up? And I was like, wait, did you just speak some other language that I just didn't even hear, right? Like, what? You want to show up for me? Like, I want to show up for you. It was like this, you just love each other so much instantly because you're on the same page. You know that connection. And to me, it's community. You're not alone. Like, you need someone to go get toilet paper with you go. You need someone to go to the movies. You need someone to be at your business event. You ask and you shall receive. And it's hard because so many times we join a group and then you just take it as it was the worst group. I'll never join a group again. And you categorize it and you don't give it a chance.
Right. That's powerful, because I think that's the truth, right? Sometimes we're only willing to give something one shot, and instead of opening our eyes to a different perspective and saying, hey, maybe there's more in this, or there's potential somewhere else. I didn't like this, but I'll try another avenue to connect with people. We shut it all down and we say, never mind, I'll go back to the TV and couch.
Yes. Yeah, you're like, it's not worth it, or I don't want to put myself out there. I'm just going to get hurt again. So you get hurt again and you try another. You find what is right. And as I said, what vibe, because there is a group for everybody.
Yes.
And just because it says something else doesn't mean that it's not for you. That group may not be the right group for you, but that connection is still there.
And I would say I've made the majority of my friends from either hobbies or work. So I play the oboe and I have music friends, right? That I really would have only met through music.
Mhm.
I have army friends that if I were not in the army, I would not have them as friends. And obviously I met people through my civilian job where we luckily bonded in the office and we maintain those friendships outside of the office. I think when you go to different organizations, I'm a Toastmaster as well, you do get another opportunity to network and create friends that way. But you have to be intentional about it. You have to go in and say, I'm willing to put some extra time into the relationships I could develop here. Mm-hmm. So fortunately for me, I like going into Toastmasters, we meet like once every 2 weeks. And I have gotten really close friends from Toastmasters as well. Not quite as many, of course, from army work and music, but I've had opportunities to connect with people and truly bond that way too.
I love that, because it's finding people who can be your tribe, who like the similarities, who can show up and understand your language. So many times, talking about love language is someone actually even understanding you and not having to explain yourself, to be on that page of like, okay, this is that group that I can go in and just authentically be myself. I don't have to explain it. They understand me. And that is a beautiful thing as well.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so good. What did I want to ask you about that we talked about? I was just thinking about it, and then it just left my mind.
It will come back.
So, yeah, we'll come back to it. So tell me, give a nugget to the audience about friendship. Like if you could give them one nugget as to why they should go out and get or pour into friendship, what is it?
Because you can find your twin soul. I think the nugget is you'll never know unless you ask. You'll never know unless you want to show up for yourself. And here it is. You never have to be alone. I think the biggest nugget is knowing that. I think people think I'm alone, or I'm this or that, or I'll never find someone. There is always someone out there. And if you're looking for a best friend, here, reach out to me. I love you. I love your friends.
Yeah, I love that.
I think the nugget is believing in yourself that you are worth finding a special friend. You are worth the love of someone else, platonic or not. And the nugget is, if you don't try, you'll never know.
So with that, have you experienced friendship that has been transformational to you? Like a friendship that has introduced significant change or made a significant difference in how your life went?
100%. I think one of my biggest is this polka dot powerhouse. I've never seen, it makes me like emotional a little bit. I've never seen myself shine so brightly with that and having women show up for me the way that I show up for them. That it is real. It is raw. They are there and I found my tribe because I allowed myself to trust others. They have been life-changing because I was nominated for an award out of 3,000 women that I just met only for like I've been in it maybe 2 years to be the most loving and caring dot. We're called dots.
Yes.
And to have that many women vote on you, and that's what I give to others to see it receive back. Or public speaking. I had to get up and speak in front of all of them. They call it the dot wall. 50 of them lined up against the wall so I could watch them and feel that so I wasn't afraid on that stage. So it can happen, but you have to make it happen. You have to choose to put yourself out there. And it has been life-changing. Like, look at me, I get emotional talking about it, that I was so jaded by all these other groups that I joined with these women. Like, it was nasty. I'm like, what is going on? But when I finally opened up and said, I want to receive, like, I put it out to the universe, what are you going to do? Help me. That fell into my lap. I was introduced to some lady who I actually had an end of friendship with. But because of that, I got to meet my polka dots.
Wow. Wow.
So,
very insightful. Yeah.
sorry about that. I didn't think I was going to get as emotional. But yeah, that's, you said, it was life-changing for me. I mean, I can't talk enough about this group.
I love that so much because I've experienced that kind of friendship too. That'll just make you break down and cry. And
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had that
yeah.
experience, as well.
Yeah. So that's just so beautiful. Okay, so Elana, do you have anything else for our audience out here about friendship that you want to remark on?
Yeah, I just say give it a chance, and also, friendships. Also, one of the nuggets is that may not always be your friend forever, but it's a lesson. They were there at that time in the life where you both needed each other. So sometimes friendships may not necessarily last. That doesn't mean that it's bad or good or here it is. So I want people to acknowledge that throughout your life, you will have plenty types of friendships, whether they stay or not, whether you have to end something or not, doesn't change who you are. And I think that's, if like, oh no, if I'm not friends, and to release the judgment that this is where they are at the time of your life, where they should be and how to show up. So one of my nuggets is love on yourself, reach out to someone, even if it's one. You don't have to have, I would rather quality over quantity. It's not about how many you have, it's who you have.
Yes. Beautifully stated. All right, Elana, tell us, where can we find you?
Yes, so you can find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I have a podcast called Your Health Vibes with Elana. You can find me on YouTube or Apple. And also I have a website, yourhealthvibes.com. So anybody who, would like to reach out, feel free. I'm here for you. I see you. I honor you. And Morris, I just want to say, I just so appreciate you and how you show up and what you're doing, your aura, your energy, who you are. Everybody is lucky to have you as a friend. And I want you to know that too.
Thank you so much, Elana.
Through our interactions, I feel you're very magical.
Thank you so much. I have enjoyed your energy too. And when she tells you that she sends those voice messages out, they come at random times. And we just met each other. And I promise you, the smile that lights up on my face when I open them, I'm like, this woman sent me a good morning message that was 20 seconds, and I'm already excited and ready for the day just by listening to it. So just showing up authentically as yourself is so powerful. Elana, thank you so much for joining me. Team, I'll have links to her podcast and her website and all that good stuff. And we will see Elana on a future episode of Stories of Friendship because I think that we have a lot more to discover.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Elana, for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.